Here, start. Our first race is only 6 or 7 minutes. You were with us. We'll be following a very, very similar format. First, we have B finals for women, and then second race for elite men. So the format here, all of our athletes raced yesterday over the same course format distances. They were 3 semi-finals. The top 9 in each of those semi-finals, along with the 3 fastest automatic qualifiers, they qualified for the A finals that we will see in just over an hour or so. The other athletes that finished in positions 31 through to 60, they will be racing in the B finals, which are the first 2 races coming up today. The course here in Balıkesir, and we should say, consecutive year, it's a championship hosted by Europe Triathlon, Turkish Triathlon Federation, Balıkesir Triathlon, and all of the many, many local organisations, governing bodies, local councils, etc. So a big thank you to all of them for enabling us to return to this fantastic venue. Today's racing, it's a short swim. In fact, the whole triathlon is in relative terms short. So we have a 270-metre swim. It's quite a unique course, almost direct point to point, as you will see in a few moments. We're then out onto the super sprint bike course, just over 7 kilometres, 3 laps, flat and fast, and then the racing will finish off with a 2-lap, 1.8 kilometre run. So triathlon, of course, on a high at the moment after those 3 absolutely magnificent races that I'm sure most, if not all of you, will have watched from Paris 2024 over the last week to 10 days. Those 2 individual races, one by Cassandra Beaugrand and Great Britain's Alex Yee, and of course the mixed team relay, and we will be Championship mixed team relay here. We're bringing you won by Team Germany. So those gold medals in sweep. So Europe really is at the heart of elite triathlon globally at the moment, and we're going to be seeing some of those athletes racing here today. So our first race will start off at 3:30 local time, so we're only about 3 or 4 minutes away. And then there's a 35-minute gap between the racing, so they're really back-to-back. Each of the races is very short and fast, only around 20 or so minutes each, so you can sit back, enjoy the action for the next couple of hours. Plenty of triathlon coming your way. Athletes being introduced onto the swim pontoon. We just saw Daisy Davis from Great Britain, Erin McConnell from Ireland, who raced last year at the European Games in Krakow. We've got Marina Crick there, a multiple World and European Aquathlon Championship medalist. So those athletes making their way onto the swim pontoon. So in terms of this B final, and just trying to pick out just a few names in advance, one of those we can see right on the screen to the right hand side there wearing number 6, that's Sarah Guerrero Manso. Sarah actually finished 4th here last year, just outside the podium spots. And just missed out on the final. She was 10th position in her semi-final, which was semi-final number 1 yesterday, and was just 1 second away from qualifying for the final. I'm sure she'll be looking to put that disappointment from yesterday behind her, coming back, taking on the same course again, and seeing if she can produce another fine performance. The talented Spaniard.
Türk sporcumuz Sinem Tuz da var. Sinem Tuz biliyorsunuz 2024 Paris Olimpiyatlarında yer almak için inanılmaz mücadele etti. Puan toplama adına bir sporcuyla kotaya giremedi.
So it looks as though almost all of those athletes are onto the swim start pontoon here. You will see our technical officials lined up behind the athletes. They have those red flags. Once all of those athletes are in place and they are happy with how they are lined up, you will see the flags raise. Once all of those flags are up, that will be the indication to the starter that the racing is about to get underway.
Şimdi start verildi 270 metrelik yüzme etabı için ve elit kadınlarda B grubu finali.
And there we go, racing underway. The swim has started in the first of our 4 afternoon races. You just joined us. Welcome. Thank you for joining us once again. Another Europe Triathlon broadcast. Quite a few through the season and hopefully a couple more before the end of the year. But we are in Turkey, in Balıkesir. This is the Europe Triathlon Sprint and Relay Championships, back here for a second consecutive year and underway here with the first of our afternoon races. This is the Elite and Under-23 Women's B Final. Now, of course, both air and water temperatures very warm. It's around about 33 degrees air temperature, so the water here is going to be lovely and warm, so absolutely no need for any neoprene today, no wetsuits. So the athletes in their race suits from the off. That's going to make transitions simple and fast. So you'll see, we said about this swim course, it's quite a unique swim venue. This, not sure we can call it a canal, a lake. It's a man-made feature here at the venue here in Turkey, which is at Balıkesir Avlu. So the athletes just swim directly up from that swim start pontoon where they dived in, and then it is just one left-hand turn that will bring them to transition. So that avoids any issues around bunching up at buoys after 100 meters or so. So the athlete should hopefully have a relatively free swim. But up at the front, see one of our athletes certainly pushing the pace at the moment. Difficult, of course, to tell who that is, but it does look like we have a green and white trisuit. Could well be one of the Irish athletes that we have racing here. So from Ireland, we do have wearing number 46, Elizabeth Carr. We also have Saoirse O'Brien wearing number 62. And then the athlete that we did see being introduced here at the start, number 96, Erin McConnell. She represented Ireland here in Krakow at the European Games. Just a few moments away now from the swim exit, where we will be getting a clearer picture of the way things are panning out as they come out of the water. But here come your swim leaders exiting the water. That definitely did look like an Irish tri-suit there. Definitely Erin McConnell there. Just got a quick glimpse as she came past in
Ve şu
front.
anda
But there is not too much in terms of
ve Rus sporcu
time, as you would expect at this elite level.
grubun liderliğini
Such a
götürüyor.
short
Gözlerimiz
swim.
Sinem'i arıyor. Ve Sinem'i şimdi gördüm. Sinem Tuz'da. Ön gruba çok yakın. Bravo Sinem. Çok iyi çıkmış sudan. Ön grubun çok yakınında. Herkesi Sinem'i
So Erin McConnell out in 3:24. She had Darina Moskalenko with her.
Milli takım sporcumuz
Holly Elliott from Great Britain also quite close there. Diana Isakova racing under the World Triathlon flag at the moment.
Sudan çıkışı muhteşem.
I think we are going to, as we're seeing pretty much right on cue, going to be getting a certainly small initially, but I suspect could well form a large-ish group in the very early stages of the bike. Not too much to separate our leaders out of the water in the first race here this afternoon. This is our elite and under 23 women's B final. So the bike course here, it's flat, it's fast, not too technical at all. Just around about 7 kilometers, 3 laps. So we did see a breakaway earlier on when we had the A final of our junior men. Eventual winner Nuno Batista, along with Niels Sergeri, Batista's teammate from Portugal, also Martin Kropko. They formed a breakaway quartet right out of the swim. They held it all the way through the bike with 3 of that finish. But right now for our elite women, that looks to be at the very early stages, a group of around about 9 to 10 athletes. One of the athletes that has some of the best results historically, not for a couple of years perhaps, but Sarah Village from Austria. She was an Olympian, went to Rio 2016 and also got a bronze medal at WTCS, World Triathlon Championship Series level, back in Abu Dhabi in 2017. Just looking down the swim time, she was a little bit back out of the water, not too much, maybe about 12, 14 seconds. Did seem to have a pretty swift transition, so it'll be interesting to see whether Sarah Village has made this lead pack. Just looking down there, we had that lead 10, but that does look to be about 4 athletes of really closing in pretty quickly. So that group is just about to expand. I think we're going to be going up to around about 14 or 15 athletes as that quartet just bridges. So we're getting these drone shots. Obviously difficult, of course, to spot exactly who is in there. But I think we will be getting the a little bit closer up of the from the motorbikes very shortly. So the pace definitely looking strong at the moment. We had what looked like 4 or 5 athletes manage to bridge back to that initial group of around about 9, but then there's now a fairly significant group gap, I should say, not group, behind. So it's going to be difficult for anybody else to close. And just looking at the back of that group, perhaps 1 or 2 athletes just struggling to stay with this pace. Just a few very, very small gaps, but that's the sort of thing that can cause an athlete to lose contact if they just lose just a second or so. We've got the Irish athlete on the front there in the green. So can't see close up, but I'm going to assume that that for now is Erin McConnell. She's now getting some help with the pace setting up at the front. And if we look behind, just down to the left, from behind this group, there's no other riders in sight. So while this event is the B final, that it still has some value to these athletes because the overall positions, so effectively the athletes are racing for positions 31 down to 60. That can affect their rankings, the World Triathlon rankings, European Triathlon rankings, etc., which can have a knock-on effect in gaining access to other races. So as well as just being the athletes that they are and wanting to race, wanting to perform, maybe wanting to put right any wrongs or feeling that they didn't perform in the semi-finals yesterday, they do have something to race for as well. Saw just in the red tri-suit just going through there, that was Rebecca Betty from Switzerland. And Rebecca was second in Kitzbühel this year at the Europe Triathlon Cup event, so she comes here in good form.
Şu anda bisiklet etabında
Hungary also represented in that group, so as always and as we saw all morning, including a European champion in the junior category for Fanny Salai. The Hungarians are always big supporters and great performers in the Europe Triathlon events, and racing for them today we have Bubala Sarcia and Nora Romina Nadas. Nora was 5th here in the junior race last year. She's moving up to the under-23 ranks this season.
Elit erkekler B grubu finalinde milli sporcumuz Gültekin yarışacak. Şu anda elit kadınlar B grubu finalinde bizi temsil eden sporcu Sinem Tuz.
So we are starting to see just behind this leading group of, I'm going to estimate this is around 12 to 14 athletes. We can see the chasers there now. Obviously the camera always makes them look a little closer than they typically are, but certainly relative to when we came down this same road on the last lap, they do appear to be a little closer. And it did appear to be, in this lead group, a few athletes just taking it a little easier. We saw with the temperatures here, athletes taking the chance to make sure they've got fluids on board. Although the racing is short, they perhaps want to get a few electrolytes, maybe a few calories in, because they know that racing, once they get onto the run, will be intense. Big push on the front there from Belgium. I think that's Neela Dekai. That looked like number 17. So Neela, one of the many athletes that we have here racing in the under 23 division. So this race is combined the seniors and the under 23 athletes. But we're coming up to almost 15 minutes of racing now. So that means that we are not going to be far away from the end of the bike leg. We'll be seeing our athletes reaching down towards their shoes, undoing the Velcro, and heading into transition. We'll be seeing the blue carpet coming up soon. So here we go. The athletes bear off to the left, or their left, but our right. See on the broadcast screen to the dismount line, and they'll be running their bikes through.
Tabii ki görme şansımız yok. Aralarında Türk sporcumuz Sinem Tusta var mı? Birazdan göreceğiz.
So Italy leading the way. Erin McConnell still up there. Guerrero, who we said was one of the athletes that we're expecting to be performing well. Holly Elliott. Orla, Alessia Orla, who's currently in the process of transferring representation from Italy to Romania. She was up in that large lead group. But it is all to play for on the run. Short run, total of 1.8 kilometers here in Balıkesir. And as always, in line with expectations, close and fast racing, super sprint format. So you're seeing there the finish line. As the athletes come through at the end of the first of 2 laps, we will see them on the left-hand side. And Daisy Davies from Great Britain, she was a little way back there. Now that's unusual. I don't know, but I'm going to guess something may well have happened out on the course. Know that Daisy is a fantastic swimmer. She was one of the athletes that was very close to qualifying automatically yesterday. She's won the British Elite Championships as well, being part of the mixed team relay silver medal winning Great Britain team. Junior World Championships back in 2022. Usual for Daisy to be off the back at the moment. So unfortunately the day not going the way that the Brit would like.
Ve şimdi bir sporcunun terk ettiği bilgisini aldık. Bir sporcu yarışmadan ayrılmış. Evet, ilk turları tamamlayacaklar.
So any second now we should see, if it follows the format of the racing this morning, we'll probably see the outrider on the pedal cycle leading the way. So here we go. So that indicates that our first athletes are going to come through. So this is the halfway point of this 2-lap run. So that looks like we've got Diana Isakova leading the way at the moment in this Elite Under-23 Women's B final. So Isakova currently leading the way. We've got Betty in second, and then it looked like Sarah Guerrero leading a chasing group. Very, very close at the moment. So out onto that final lap now, and this will not take very long at all. Well into probably the last 400 or 500 meters now. Each of those run laps, only about 800 to 900 meters. And it's been a good, perhaps a minute or so, where we saw our leaders in this first of 4 back-to-back races that we'll be bringing you this afternoon here from Balıkesir in Turkey. This is the second consecutive year we've had the Europe Triathlon Sprint and Relay European Championships here at this venue. And on screen now we have watching the very late stages, the conclusion of the first of those 4 races. This is the Elite and Under 23 Women's B final. The end of that first lap was Diana Isakova in the colours of the individual neutral athletes. We had Rebecca Betty from Switzerland in second, but it looks like it's all perhaps closing up just a little bit. You can see they've made the turn at the very far end of the course. You can see the swim venue to the right. You can see down there the red and yellow strip. That is Sarah Guerrero. So has she managed to close up to Isakova and Betty in those final stages? We got the finish now. So here is Isakova still leading the way. She's going to cross the line in first place there. We think we've got Rebecca Betty from Switzerland second across the line, and it does look like Sarah Guerrero, who was their 4th place overall finisher last year, didn't make the final this time around, but she's going to have to be content with 3rd place in the B final this year. As we then get, of course, a flow of athletes across the line. The gaps in this racing are always very, very small. So we can confirm those top positions for you. Diana Isakova in first place, Rebecca Betty second, Sarah Guerrero Manso third. In 4th place from Poland, it was Magdalena Sudak. Holly Elliott from Great Britain in 5th, under the World Triathlon flag at the moment, actually. Joanna Wozniak from Poland. Darina Moskalenko from the Ukraine in 7th. Erin McConnell led the way out of the water, finished in 8th. Chiara Loba from Italy in 9th, and Bobala Sashia, the first of the Hungarians in this B final, came home to complete the provisional top 10 from our Elite Under 23 Women's B final. And all top 10 separated by just 20 seconds. But Isakova ran 5 minutes flat for that run. Just looking down the timing information I've got here, looks like the fastest run by quite a few seconds. Joanna Wozniak, who ran through for 6th place, was close with a 5:03. But great running. Diana Isakova crossed the line first in the first of our 4 races this afternoon. That racing will continue, and as I said, it was back-to-back racing, and that is true. Just 12 minutes away now from Elite Under 23 Men's B final. Be kicking off at 4:05 p.m. local time, 3:05 Central European time, or 2:05 p.m. if you are watching in the UK or on a UK time zone. So that is coming off in just about 11 minutes from now. While the athletes just take a little bit of a break, you can see them in these warm temperatures, getting into these cooling baths, a nice bath at the end of the race just to get those temperatures down. 10 minutes away from our next race. While they're taking a break, we'll take a couple of minutes rest and we'll be back with you in a few minutes. All through the Elite and Under 23 Men's European Championship.
Değerli dostlar, saat 4'ü 5 geçe. Tam 4'ü 5 geçe. Elit erkekler B grubu finali gerçekleştirilecek. 10 dakika sonra 30 sporcu yarışacak ve aralarında Türk sporcu Gültekin nerede olacak? Herkesi şu anda avlu alışveriş merkezinde olan tüm spor severleri, Balıkesir halkını, herkesi Gültekin'lere desteğe davet ediyoruz. Şu anda 4'ü 5 geçe verilecek olan elit erkekler B grubu finali için son hazırlıklar yapılıyor. Sporcular heyecan içerisinde. Hepsi emrindeler. 5 geçe. Son 8 dakika artık. Günün öğleden sonraki seansın ikinci startı için son 8 dakika. Değerli spor severlere, bu yarışmaları ilk defa seyredenler için triatlon sporu hakkında hemen bir bilgi verelim. Triatlon sporu 3 farklı spor dalının ard arda yapılmasıyla oluşan bir spor dalı. Önce yüzme, ardından bisiklet ve koşma etabı spor dallarının ard arda gerçekleştirilmesiyle oluşan bir spor dalı triatlon. Şu anda 2024 Avrupa Triatlon Sprint ve Bayrak Şampiyonası'nı icra ediyoruz Balıkesir Avlu Alışveriş Merkezi'nde. Ve dün yapılan seçme yarışları sonucunda bugün de final yarışlarını gerçekleştiriyoruz. Az önce biten yarışmada elit kadınlar B finali gerçekleştirildi. Şimdi de elit erkekler B finali yapılacak ve aralarında bir Türk sporcu Gültekin yarışacak. start için artık son 5 dakika. Tam 4'ü 5 geçe start verilecek.
Well, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I promised you that we would have back-to-back triathlon action this afternoon, just as we did this morning with our elite male and female juniors. And we are back with the second of our quartet of afternoon races here from the Europe Triathlon Sprint and Relay Championships 2024. We're in Balıkesir, Turkey, in the Marmara region of the country. Back here for the second consecutive year of this championship event. So a big thank you to the Turkish delegation, local organisers, the Turkish Triathlon Federation, and everybody else involved. It's a great sign that an event has been a great success when we're able to return once again. Popular with athletes and all of our officials alike. So coming up for you in this second race, we just saw a few moments ago the B final of our elite and under 23 women. We have the same coming up now, same course, same distances, same everything, this time for our elite and under 23 men. So if you just joined us wondering what that B final is, what the B means, well, this was a 2-day event in terms of the individual, at least, for our elite athletes. Yesterday, all of the athletes raced across 3 semi-finals, so 3 semi-finals for the men, 3 for the women, and the top 9 of each of those semi-finals qualified automatically for the final, along with the 3 fastest non-automatic qualifiers. So that gave 30 athletes into the finals, and that's what we will be bringing you in just over half an hour's time. For the other athletes who finished in positions 31 through to 60, they qualified for this B final. So effectively within this race, all of the athletes are racing for their overall positions from the individual European Championship event of the weekend. And the results from this race pan out will determine those positions through 30 down 60. Of course, that has a knock-on effect, impact world rankings, Europe Triathlon rankings, and so a few athletes here that will, of course, have been a little disappointed that they didn't get through to the final. Another opportunity to try and put that right. One of the athletes that you're going to be looking out for is wearing number 4 from Germany. That's Valentin Burns. He's definitely going to be an athlete disappointed not to have qualified for the final here. You just see him, as I mentioned him, there's there right, the right-hand side. 4 on the yellow swim cap in the German strip. Now, he was actually the elite European champion 2 years ago. That race was held in Poland, if I'm not mistaken. I forget the exact venue, but was the champion there, but unfortunately not managed to get through to the final. So it's his opportunity to try and put that right. Wearing number 18 from France, another athlete to look out for, particularly when we get onto the run. His first year in the senior and under 23 ranks. Hans Leinel. Thomas, a very distinguished athlete, many times on the Europe Triathlon Junior Cup circuit, but his biggest win came 2 years ago. A very title as a world junior champion. Exceptional runner. So he can stand close enough to the first two disciplines. And Thomas out an athlete to keep. Mentioned Valentin Verns of the German. So just point out just before the start is Argentina, the highest ranked athlete based on the world ranking. Didn't qualify final is in this.
Şu anda sporcular çıkış podyumunda ve start için artık saniyeler var. Şimdi start verildi. B
And
grubu.
here we go.
Elit erkekler
Men's
aralarında Gültekin
B
de var.
final underway.
Ve inanılmaz bir tempoda kulaç atıyorlar. Müthiş bir mücadele var. Resmen sporcular
So very interesting swim venue. Just allows us to have this completely one-directional point-to-point swim. Crystal clear, blue as you can see, water. And I'm reliably informed that no, this is not artificial intelligence or anything of that sort. The water really is that crystal clear and blue here. Of course, along with the air temperature around 33 degrees. Water also very warm. So wetsuit 3. So it's just a straight swim up this channel, which provides a great swim course here. So much discussion, of course, particularly around the Olympics, but over many events in recent years, including some that has affected Europe Triathlon events around water quality, global warming, and various other factors. So that's one of the benefits here in Balıkesir with this contained swim venue. Crystal clear water. So our super sprint distance format here, no concerns of that nature. So it's not going to take them very long at all. Get out of the water, you'll be seeing, as the images just pan out from this drone shot, you'll be seeing the yellow buoys just appearing up on the left, which is the left-hand turn into transition. That will represent the completion of the first discipline, 270 meters in the wall position. Pick up the bike out onto the 3-lap, 7.2 kilometer bike course, and then we'll be finishing off with the same 2-lap, 1.8 kilometer run that we have seen already 5 times today, with the B finals and the A finals this morning for our junior men and junior women, where champions were for our junior men from Portugal, retaining that title for a second season. Januno Batista, very impressive, and as always for the junior women, and matching the efforts of Batista, where we had both pre-race favourites taking the title. That went to the 16-year-old sensation, Fanny Salai, in some style, but we're getting a big group coming out of the water in close order here. Perhaps have been one of the Italians just leading the way, but there is really not much between these athletes at all.
Gültekin! Haydi Gültekin! Baştaki gruba çok yakın. Haydi Gültekin! Bütün desteğimiz, bütün alkışlar.
So just look how close all of these athletes are. So really puts the pressure on them. They just do not want to lose a couple of seconds, because that could be the difference between getting into a lead group and the right chase group, or being spat out the back. And when the racing is so short, so fast, that's absolutely not what to be happening.
3 ay önce geçirdiği kaza neticesinde sakatlandı, köprücük kemiğini kırdı ama 3 ayda inandı, azmetti, çalıştı ve Avrupa Şampiyonası'nda B finalinde yarışıyor şimdi.
So very, very early stages. There's 4 athletes just together, but we can see there's not much gap behind, and I think we are going to be seeing a group. Certainly there is 6, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if a few more come and join them. We saw that happening just a few moments ago in the women's B final. That group got pretty big by the finish. So same bike course once again, just over 7 kilometres total, 3 laps, flat, fast, really not too much of any technical nature, so the pace absolutely going to be on. Looks like we've got 6 in the front group with another athlete. Looks like the white and black, I'm going to guess that's one of the German triathletes, just trying to bridge up to the back of that group. And in fact, yeah, he's leading the way, but there are plenty more just behind. So from an initial straight out of transition, we are going to have, I think, at least 10 athletes coming together before the end of the first bike lap.
Yarışma parkurlarını süratlice boşaltmanız şu anda çok hızlı bir yarış cereyan ediyor. Özellikle bisiklette yer hızları 50-60 kilometreye kadar çıkabiliyor. Hiçbiriniz 50-60 kilometre giden bir bisikletliyle çarpışmak istemezsiniz. O yüzden lütfen önce sporcularımızın can güvenliğini düşünelim, sonra kendimizi...
So in terms of overall time, we're probably only going to be looking at somewhere around 18.5 minutes for this afternoon's racing. For our elite men and under 23 men in this B final. Just looking down the qualifiers, Valentin Wernz, number 4 from Germany, the European champion from 2 years ago in this format. He was the fastest of the qualifiers for this event, so effectively the last person who didn't manage to get through to the A final, which will be coming up in less than an hour from now. He came through from those semi-finals with a time of 18:33. So I think we're going to be seeing something pretty similar to that. Conditions pretty much perfect once again. Dry roads, warm temperatures. Now we do have a little breakaway here. We said there was that large group, but there looks to be, well, I'm saying a breakaway, certainly a breakaway attempt. We've got 3 athletes just pushing here on, I think this would be the second of the 3 bike loops. 8 minutes into the race at the moment, so that would make sense. But you can see when the roads are flat and the course is fast, it just takes so much additional power to try and break away. Looks like those chasers are really not letting them get anywhere. And the athlete on the front, I think he's just realised that, just pulled over to the side, just looked up, perhaps decided, no, I don't think this one is going to work. Well, he's certainly determined, this rider on the front. I thought he was going to pull up and, not pull up, but pull over and metaphorically just give up on that attack. But he's gone again. But yeah, there's still very, very little gap at the moment. Just looking down the road there, no more than about 2 to 3 seconds. Each one of these efforts, as well as trying to sting the legs of those that you're trying to get away from, are also going to sting the legs of the athlete making those efforts as well. So it's always that balance of trying to work out what is the best tactics for you against the athletes that you're racing against. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? Are you able to run well off of a hard bike, etc.? Now that's definitely one of the German athletes on the front. Could well be the tall figure of Werns. Wouldn't be a surprise if it was. He's obviously a quality athlete. Don't win European championships if you are not. Look at the size of that group now. I think we've got probably the majority of the field. Started with 30 athletes, and that looks to me probably the best part of 20. Looks like one of the French athletes trying to make a move there. Now, if that is a French tri-suit, just looking down my start list, I think the only French athlete that was in this B final was the guy that we mentioned a few moments ago, Thomas Hansmanel, 2022 World Junior Champion. So perhaps he is trying to make sure he is into transition first and use that run strength, but it looks like the youngster in terms of relative youth. This is his first year in the senior ranks out of the juniors. It looks like he has been swept up. And we are now in the very, very late stages. We are about to see our athletes come back into transition. We'll be seeing the athletes reaching down, undoing the Velcro on their cycling shoes, starting to get ready for that all-important transition. Slipping the feet out of the shoes onto the top, trying to position themselves optimally to come into transition. Every second counts, and they want to make sure that they get the smoothest possible transition to put themselves in the best position to take advantage of the run. Just 1.8 kilometers, so super fast running. Here they come. Till Krampet from Germany leading the way. But there is a big group. In fact, to be honest, there are more of the starters are in that group than are not in the group. So there's Thomas Hansmanel from France. We know he's a good runner, but that wasn't his best position coming into transition, and it's really difficult to give away time and make that up.
Geride kalan süre 14 dakika 30 saniye. Ve aşağı yukarı 2-3 dakika içerisinde tüm sporcular varış noktasında olacaklar.
So Till Kramp, who was the German athlete who was our first into transition, he had a pretty strong performance earlier this year. Beginning of June, raced in Kielce in Poland, and that was the race that got a lot of attention because it was effectively the final qualification race for the Great Britain triathlon team heading into Paris 2024. Pretty much a showdown between Sam Dickinson and Johnny Brownlee, and Dickinson won that day. Was subsequently selected for Paris and then put in an absolutely magnificent performance in that mixed team relay. Part of the British team that took the bronze medal. Till Kramp was not too far behind that day in 8th position. We are now here at European Championships in Kielce, here, sorry, in Balıkesir, not in Kielce. Seen our lead rider come through.
Avusturyalı Bader ve İtalyan sporcu.
Now that could be one of the British athletes that's come through. So I think that is Jack Stanton Stock. Now, that I think is quite a late change in terms of the start list that I had. But I was spotting him there. I saw a British vest come out of transition very, very quickly. Jack really broke onto the scene. Was it last year or the year before? Had a fantastic performance in the Arena Games triathlon, in the Canadian event, a podium there against some really significant global names, including the likes of Lionel Sanders. Looks though he perhaps a late addition to this B final, and if he is, he seems to be making the most of it. Either that or my eyes are deceiving me, but that did look like a British tri-suit perhaps leading the way at the end of that first lap, but that will all become clear in the next 3 to 4 minutes. Saw Marek from the Czech Republic there, Jakub Marek. He's one of the relative youngsters in the field, just 21. One of the athletes in the under-23 category. We can't be too far away from seeing our first athletes coming into the finish from this B final. And we are very close to the finish now. They're on that back straight. This is the section coming into the finish. Now that looks like a German athlete has come to the finish. And that's Eric Diener. It looked like Jack Stanton Stock in third. And was that an Austrian tri-suit that just got ahead of him? Could have been Jan Bader. I'll have that confirmed for you any second. But my glimpse, my first impression was that could have been Jan Bader in second, Diener in first, and indeed that is correct. I can confirm that that was Eric Diener first across the line. Just 1 second later, Jan Bader from Austria. Jack Stanton Stock, Great Britain, a further second behind. In fact, these first 5 athletes, just 1 second between all of them. So I'll give you a rundown now of the top 10. So this is from second race of the afternoon. This is our elite and under 23 European Triathlon Sprint Championship. in the men's category B final. Top 10 there. Eric Diener in first from Jan Bader, Austria. Second, Jack Stanton Stock from Great Spain. Fourth, Eduardo Blanco Moya. Baker Saran from Finland in fifth. Valentin Bern, 2022 European champion, in sixth. Adrian Dahar from Belgium in seventh. Victor Gonye from Netherlands in eighth. Russell White, Ireland, ninth. Top 10 rounded out by Jose Ignacio Galvez Ponce from Spain. That is your top 10 of the second of the two B finals. So we've seen the B finals for under 23 women, or elite, and under 23 men. From now on, our final two races determine the 2024 European Super Sprint champions. It's the A final coming up 15 minutes away now from the start of elite and under 23 women's final. So if you want to grab yourself a drink, little snack, comfort break, etc., now is your opportunity. Get yourself ready, and in 13 or 14 minutes time we will be kicking off with the start of that elite women's A final. We'll be back with you for that action. Who will be joining Januno Batista from Portugal and Fanny Salai from Hungary as the next Europe Triathlon European champion for 2024. We'll be back with you in a few minutes to enjoy the action and see who come out on top here. Well, good afternoon once again, everybody. Welcome back to those of you who have been with us for the last hour or so. A warm welcome if you have just joined us. We are just coming up to 16:35 local time in Turkey, 15:35 Central Europe, 14:35 if you are in the UK or watching on a UK time zone. We are pleased once again to be bringing you more Europe Triathlon Championship coverage. This is from Turkey, Balıkesir, the European Triathlon Sprint and Relay Championships. It's a three-day festival of triathlon. We've had 6 races so far this morning and this afternoon. This morning's races, we're focusing on our rising stars, our junior men and junior women, where we saw Portugal's Januna Batista and Hungary's Vani Zalai take the Junior European Championship titles. The last hour, we have brought you the B finals, elite and under 23 women and men. We are now into medal territory, medal zone. Final 2 races today. These are A finals. These will determine European Championship and medalists for elite women being produced locally, coming out onto the swim pontoon here at the Balıkesir Avlu venue. So all of these athletes raced yesterday. Had 3 semi-finals over the same course, same distance, same everything, and on a field of over 60 athletes. Those 3 semi-finals, the top 9 athletes, along with the 3 fastest non-automatic qualifiers, they made their way into this A final. And once we get underway, and that will be in around 2 to 3 minutes from now, we will have just over 20 minutes of action to determine the European Super Sprint champions for 2024. We're back here for the 2nd straight year in Balıkesir. We have this fantastic swim venue. Allows us to have this point-to-point swim, so they will swim literally directly from the swim pontoon, as you can see, of course, along with the weather on screen there. 33 degrees air temperature, very warm in the water as well. No chance of a wetsuit swim here in Turkey. So there's athletes getting up to the pontoon, and as we complete the introductions, you'll see race technical officials behind. They will be checking everybody is in the correct positions. When they're happy, those red flags will go up. We'll be handing over to the starters. So we have several medalists here from last year. Wearing number 11 from France, Ilona Hadoum. This is her first year in the senior and under 23 ranks. Ilona turns 20 this year. She was the junior European champion last year, and then she added to that European Junior Championship the World Junior title as well. Plenty more talent on show, but we'll tell you more about those as they get underway. The flags are up. The racing action is about to get underway. And it is a go. This is the final. We are underway. The next 20 minutes to determine European Championship medalists for 2024 elite and under 23 women here in the beautiful blue water here at Balıkesir. Underway. Our course once again, same course, same distances, same number of laps that you've been watching. Hopefully, if you've been with us all through the day. But if you've just joined us, you're very, very welcome. And we'll just remind you of what our athletes are facing. It's a 270-meter swim, so short, fast. It's a point swim, so you'll see it's almost like a giant swimming pool here. That dive into the pontoon, straight up, almost to the swim exit. There's a left-hand turn into transition. From there, transition to the 72-kilometer bike section, 3 laps. It's flat, it's fast. And then the completion of the bike. They rack the bike, put on the running shoes, and then it is 2 laps of 1.8 kilometers. That means just 20 minutes of very fast, very intense action, very similar in style to the individual legs you, I'm sure, all have been watching avidly at Paris 2024 as part of the mixed relay triathlon. What a wonderful event that was. Team Germany taking the title. Can Team Germany take the honours today? Well, they have several opportunities. Now, before the start, we mentioned one of our medalists from last year, from the juniors, moving up, Ilona Hadoum. Well, another medalist from last year, wearing number 2 today, is Selina Klamt. And while Hadoum from France, she managed to win European and World Junior Championships last year. Well, at the under 23 level, that's Selina Klamt managed to do. European and World 23 champion. She was 4th at the European game, as well as taking the under 23 championship here. She was also 2nd overall. Taking a double medal, 2nd elite and 1st under 23. Top ranked athletes today, wearing big number 1. So another German athlete, Marlene Gomez-Gurgel. She had some fantastic races last year. 2nd in the Rome World Cup, 3rd in Valencia in the World Cup there, and then had her best finish to date, Triathlon Championship Series, a 5th place up in the northeast, England at Sunderland. Athletes heading now out of the water. Got a little bit of a gap. Those first 3 athletes just had a little bit of an advantage, but as you'd expect, a strong flow of athletes coming out of the water just a few seconds later. So it looked like we had Susanna Mikalichova leading the way, representing Slovakia. She's had some strong results. She was 9th in both the indoor super sprint triathlon in Liévin in France and at the Hong Kong World Cup triathlon. Super swimmer was leading the way out of the water there. Closely followed, we did see the Italian tri-suit, and that was Carlotta Mizaglia, another regular on the Europe Triathlon circuit. She's been a World Championship silver medalist as part of Team Italy in 2021 in the mixed team relay event at Hamburg. And she recently raced individually at Hamburg for the Triathlon Championship Series, where she was 35th. So she has plenty of top-tier experience. There's some real quality in here. Plenty more names that we've not mentioned yet, but we will, I'm sure, as we see them on screen, and I'll give you some background as we go through the racing. It is short, it is fast. Already almost 5 minutes into the race. Only around 15 or 16 minutes of racing to follow. Every second counts. No room for mistakes in this format of racing. And very early on, that looks like a lead group of around 14 athletes. A long line suggests that the pace is absolutely on at the front. This is exactly what you would expect at a European Championship level. We're really surprised if we had big groups forming so early, and in fact it looks like the vast majority of the field is going to be coming back together within the first 2 kilometres of the bike leg. Fast, flat roads here. So I think that is, well, that's 20 athletes, if not more there. So we have probably approaching 3/4 of the field together after the swim and the opening couple of kilometres of the bike. Germany selextremely well represented here. We mentioned already 2 of the top German athletes in Marlene Gomez-Gogol and Selina Klampt, and their top tier performances. Well, maybe the favourite for today's race will be race number 81, Annika Koch. Annika was recently part of the German mixed team relay that on once again the Mixed Relay World Championships on home turf in Hamburg. And then the German team, not with Annika in it this time, but with Lara Lindemann and Lisa Turch on the female side. They took the biggest success of all, the gold, Paris 2024 at the Olympic Games recently. But just shows what great form Annika is in. She also won the World Cup event in Tishivaros and was 5th individually at Hamburg as well. So she is an absolute class act. And she will be hoping and expecting to be performing and challenging for podium spots here today in Turkey. But look at the size now of that leading group. Is anybody going to be brave enough, feeling strong enough to want to try and get away? With the racing so short, it is such a tough ask when you've got a peloton working together like this to try and generate the power and not blow yourself up in the process. To try and pull away is a tough ask. We did see that work in the men's race, but that really was right from the very beginning of the cycle section. We saw Giannuno Battista and Marton Kropko from Hungary, and they had a couple of allies in Battista's Portuguese teammate, along with Neil Segueri from France, and 3 of that quartet were the ultimate podium finishers. But they really worked together, but they used their swim abilities to get a gap out of the water, and they did not let it go. But that is a different shape of the race, a different dynamic to what we've got here. And when we're seeing those athletes spread across the road, well, it looks like, I think these athletes, they know each other well. They race regularly, whether that's through the Europe Triathlon Cup series, the World Cups, and in several cases, many of these athletes are racing in the top tier of international racing, the World Triathlon Championship Series, as we call it, the WTCS. They know just how tough it is, and they could already be looking ahead and knowing that this is going to come down to the run. Talking about Paris and the Olympic Games, just looking a quick look down the start list here, and out of the swim we do have at least one athlete that did actually race in Paris. We've seen a gold medalist already today from Portugal. Could Maria Tomé from that nation be looking to add another medal for the Portuguese in the elite women's race? She is clearly not resting on her laurels post-Olympics, straight back into racing. Had a good swim, just a few seconds down out of the water, so I'll be amazed if Maria Tomé is not in this large leading pack at the moment. The Portuguese did a fantastic performance in that mixed team relay, which was a truly magnificent race. I hope that you all saw it. I'm sure the vast majority of you did, and if you didn't, it honestly is well worth going back to see it. One of the greatest sprint finishes that we've ever seen, up at the front, with 3 teams going for the gold medal on the bridge of the Pont Alexandre Trois. Team Germany taking the honours, but just not too far behind. The Portuguese came home in 5th place. So we're already just coming up to close to 12 minutes into the racing. So look at that as we go through that group. That is significant in size. You can see a number of the athletes just making sure, despite the short nature of this racing, making sure they get some fluids in. Great Britain's Sophia Green on the front there. Sophia is a previous winner on the Europe Triathlon Junior Cup circuit. She's now up into the under 23 and senior ranks. Represented Scotland in the Commonwealth Games at Sutton Park in Birmingham, where the Team Scotland finished 5th, I think, from memory, in the mixed team relay. But she's a very, very experienced athlete now, and will be looking to improve on her 11th place last year here at the same venue. We're returning, of course, to Balıkesir to host this European Triathlon Sprint and Relay Championship once again. And big thanks to the Turkish Triathlon Federation, Balıkesir Triathlon, and all of the many local bodies, governments, communities, etc. A massive job to organise major events like that. We are very glad to be back once again. Coming up now, we are 13-14 minutes into the race, so we are not going to be far away from seeing the athletes heading back into transition. And this is always a slight danger when you've got so many athletes together. It's always worth, if you can, just trying to get a clear run to transition. You don't want to be potentially taken down by somebody in front, something over. Lots of things can go wrong. Fingers crossed you don't have any issues today. So it looks like Mikhalachova just leading the way through there. And I think Mizaglia was up there as well. But look at almost the entire field in there. We can see Beth Cook. Now Beth is another athlete that performed well last year. She was 2nd in the junior ranks. So we mentioned earlier Eloma Hadoum from France, junior champion, well, silver medalist, as she has been the previous 2 years, was Great Britain's Bethany Cook, now based in the USA, university there. She's a very, very experienced athlete despite her tender years. Comes from an extremely experienced triathlon family. Her parents, Glenn and Sarah, have many European and world medals to their name from a few years ago. Their mum, podium finisher at the Ironman World Championships, while Dad Glenn is a silver medalist at the first ever official ITU, as it was at the time now, World Triathlon Championships back in Avignon, France in 1989. So great genes there, and the Cook dynasty continues. So we got the drone footage here. Who is going to be able to break clear from that large lead group? You can see they're at the far end of the course there. So on the left-hand side, we've got the cycle outrider, but we already have one athlete has really made that is quite a significant move so early. I'm just looking down there. That could be up to about 6 or 7 seconds in the first half a K of the run. That is quite a significant move. We'll hopefully get a clearer shot as they come through at the end of the first lap. We will be seeing them by the finish line at the 2-lap course. So at the end of that first lap, they don't come to the blue carpet. And under the finish archway, they will be next to that, as we see here.
Koşu etabında ilk turu tamamlıyorlar. 30 sporcu start aldı. Ve Slovak sporcu hemen arkasından Fransız ve Alman sporcu şu anda grubun liderliğini götürüyor. Geride kalan süre 17 dakika 30 saniye. Her an tüm sonuç değişebilir.
So that looked like Mikhalachova from Slovakia. There was Dode from France, and one of the German athletes. I didn't quite get the name there. I think could well have been Gomez Gogol, but we have such a strong German contingent here, as we outlined through the intros earlier in this race, with Gomez Gogol, potential winners here.
Çıkış noktasına davet ediyoruz. Ekrem 7 numara.
So our runners here now coming up to the far end of the course. So as they turn left here, this is the furthest point away on the course. You can see the swim course out to the left. As they turn here, we only have around 250 to 300 meters to go. Like we have had change at the front.
Müthiş mücadele içerisinde finish noktasına ulaşmak üzereler.
So we're going to be seeing our finishers coming onto the blue carpet. Here they come. This is to determine the gold medalists and the podium finishers here at the 2024 Europe Triathlon European Super Sprint Championships. And it looks like Sandra Dode. Oh, Dode, what an experienced athlete she is. She has been around the block many times, and she has been performing well this year. And Mikhalachova looked like she took the bronze medal there, with Germany just separating those. So it was Sandra Dode, Marlene Gomez Gogol, and then Susanna Mikhalachova is your 1, 2, 3 there overall in this A final for the elite and under 23 women here at the Europe Triathlon Championships in Balıkesir. Sandra Dode taking the win. Very experienced athlete. We knew she was in great form. She was a winner last month in Cork at the Europe Triathlon Cup event. Has 4 previous World Cup event wins to her name. And Dode has proven her talent once again. Marlene Gomez-Gogol taking the silver. And Susanna Mikhailovchova the bronze.
Günün en deli fişek yarışı gerçekleşecek, start alacak. Elit erkekler A grubu. Elit erkeklerde olimpiyatlarda yarışmış sporcuları seyredeceğiz.
So what that should also mean, because we also effectively have a 2 races in one here. So that 1, 2, 3, the gold, silver, bronze, Dode, Gomez-Gogol, Mikhailovchova. It's the 1, 2, 3 in the elite race. We also have to look at the positions for our under 23 championship. So this is unofficial, but I think Mikhailovchova should be the gold medalist there in 4th place overall. We had Elisa Koenig, the under 23 race. We had Nolia Juan from France again, not part of the under 23s.
Bugün ikinci gün ve aynı coşku, aynı heyecan, aynı kalabalık devam ediyor.
In 6th, Mariana Vargem from Portugal. So I provisionally think that is a silver in the under 23s for Mariana Vargem. And with the bronze medal going to, again, this is unofficial, just as I'm seeing it live and in real time, I think that goes to Julia Brocker from Germany. So let's just give you a roundup then. Let's go through, first of all, the top 10 finishers overall in our elite and under 23. Balıkesir Europe Triathlon Sprint and Relay Women's A final here in Turkey. From the top then, first place, Sandra Dode. Second, Marlene Gomez-Gogol. Number 3 in the bronze medalist, Susanna Mikhailovchova. In 4th, Elisa Koenig. In 5th, Nolia Juan. In 6th, Mariana Vargem. In 7th, Sharon Spimi. 8th, Julia Brocker. 9th, Robin Dreiling from the Netherlands. And then rounding out the top 10, from the Czech Republic, Teresa Simonova. That is your top 10 overall. And unofficially, I think that means that the under 23 championship will go to Mikhailovchova from Slovakia. Silver in the under 23 race to Mariana Vargem, with the bronze to Julia Brocker from Germany. All of that to be confirmed. But great running from Sandra Dode there. Getting to the finish line just 4 seconds ahead. And the entire top 10 separated by just 14 seconds. So how quick does this racing go? It is really back to back to back to back. That just leaves us with one final to come. It is the elite and under 23 men. They are starting at 5:15 local time. That's 4:15 CET, 3:15 if you are in the UK. Basically 10 minutes away from now. So far, I believe that we have had 4 champions from 4 nations. João Nuno Batista, men's junior champion. Fanny Zalai, Hungary, women's junior champion. Sandra Dode from France, women's senior champion. And Zuzana Mikalichova from Slovakia, officially the under 23 women's champion. 2 more champions to be decided by the 8th and the final race of the day. That is coming up in 8 to 9 minutes time. We'll be back with you in a few minutes. Stay with us as we conclude this busy Saturday of racing action here from Balıkesir, Turkey for the Europe Triathlon Sprint and Relay Championships 2024. We'll be finishing off that men's A final. So, ladies and gents, we are back. What a day it has been. These back-to-back super sprint races, they just absolutely fly by. We started with 4 races this morning. The European Championships for our junior men and junior women, where Giannuno Battista for the men and Hungary's young superstar Fanny Zalai took the titles. We have just seen the Women's 2024 European Super Sprint Championship go to Sandra Daudet from France, and the under 23 title, pretty certain that that will be going to Susanna Mikhalichova as well, who was 3rd in that race. So that just leaves us with 1 race remaining. We're seeing the athletes on the screen now. They're just being introduced to the swim pontoon locally. Race start is coming up in around 3.5 minutes time. This is our elite men's A final. So if you've been with us, and hopefully you have been, you know the score by now. Same course, same number of laps, same distances. But this is the 8th and final race of this busy Saturday. And this will determine the medalists for our elite and under 23 men. All of these athletes raced yesterday over this same course in one of the 3 semi-finals. Top 9 finishers, along with the 3 fastest non-automatic qualifiers, progressed to this final. And over the next 20 to 21 minutes from now, we will determine who will come out top. We're not expecting the racing itself to take much more than 18 minutes. Fastest of the heat times yesterday came from semi-final number 3. That was 18:08 by the first 2 finishers there. That was Johan Denigro from France and Sebastian Vernessen from Norway. Now, Johan Denigro, he raced here last year, and he was a medalist. He was in the junior ranks at that point. Turns 20 this year, so he moves up to race in the under 23 and senior categories from now on. Very, very talented athlete. He managed to win on home soil 3 years in a row the Junior Cup event in Caorle. Became a bit of a local hero for the Italians there, and he's been in great form this year. Excellent race with the Olympic gold medalist Alex Yee. Alex raced in his pre-Olympics preparation at the Europe Triathlon Cup in Kitzbühel. With our athletes lined up now, we can see the flags flying. The technical officials are ready. The racing is about to get underway. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, the final race of the day. The Elite Under 23 Men's A Final.
Ve şimdi start verildi. Günün artık son startı. Elit erkekler A grubunda Avrupa'nın ve dünyanın en iyileri az önce start aldı.
So Johan Denigro from Italy, he's not the only athlete who was a medalist here last year. Just 1 place ahead of him in the junior ranks last year was Hungary's Zalan Hobor. Zalan won 3 junior cups last year, and he was 4th this year in that what turned out to be a very high-profile super sprint race in Kielce in Poland. That was the race, if you've been following the sport, that turned out to be the final selection race for the Great Britain. Final slot on the men's team heading into Paris 2024. And Sam Dickinson took the win there in a fantastic sprint finish, just ahead of Henry Graf and Johnny Brownlee. Next up is Zalan Habor, not just a few seconds behind. So that shows that he is in great form. Another athlete looking to make his mark. He moves from the juniors up into the senior ranks. Another medalist, but this time from the under-23s last year, was Great Britain's Hamish Riley. Finished 5th overall, and in the process took the bronze medal in that under-23 race. Went on to take a mixed team relay gold as well, and that mixed team relay is coming up tomorrow. You'll be able to follow that racing tomorrow for the elite. That takes place local time 3:30 p.m. That's 3:30 p.m. In Turkey, 2:30 p.m. Central Europe, 1:30 in the UK. Riley is an athlete that manages to often get it right on the biggest days. Also has an under-23 World Championship bronze medal to his resume from Abu Dhabi back in 2022. So this super sprint distance definitely is a little bit of a leveler for these athletes that are coming up from the junior ranks. Can be quite difficult to take on the experienced elite seniors in the Olympic distance format, but when we're racing over 20 minutes or less, much more even playing field. And as you can see, coming from around that buoy as they head to dry land, a long line of athletes there is very, very little to separate them. They run into transition.
Takip etmekte bile zorlanacaksınız. Şu anda Fransız sporcu önde. Grubun liderliğini götürüyor. Tabii diğer sporcular da onun peşlerini bırakmıyorlar.
So Zalan Habor, one of the athletes going through there. Gregor Dobby. We saw a couple of the British athletes there as well. So that's like to be Marcus Day and Hamish Riley. Both excellent swimmers, and would certainly be expecting them to be up towards the front. We also have in this race an athlete who's been a winner at the top tier of the sport, the World Triathlon Championship Series. Kasper Stornes from Norway. He has been in great form, had a 5th place recently at the World Triathlon Championship Series in Hamburg, which was a real return to form. He has had a few injuries, not been firing quite at his best the last 12 months, 18 months or so. I know he did have fairly significant injuries. I think he had a crash at one of the World Cup races in Italy, Arzacena, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 2 years ago on the descent there. But he is a class athlete based at Tokyo 2020 and will be looking to show that class and keep the Norwegian flag flying towards the front of today's racing. So quite a few athletes that we've mentioned already. There are many, many more absolutely be in the mix. I'm expecting it to come down to a real battle when we get onto that 1.8 kilometre 2-lap run course about 10 minutes from now.
Avrupa'nın ve dünyanın en iyilerini finish noktasında göreceğiz.
So I thought it was a French tri-suit that I saw coming out of the water first, and indeed that looks to be the case. Looks like that was Tom Lemo. 2:59, so he just got under that 3-minute mark through the swim. So for Lerno, he has been in great form and also in improving form. He's raced about 4 of the Europe Triathlon Cup events this year. Each one, he's just been moving up the ranks. Was 4th last time out in Cork in Ireland. So Tom Lerno, can he follow in the footsteps of his compatriot Sandra Dode, who we saw just 10 or 15 minutes or so taking the elite women's title going to be a tough ask, but Tom is also one of the athletes racing in the under-23 race as well. Just 21 this year, so a young athlete and improving race on race. So at this early stage, it would appear, and perhaps to expectation, that the race is following a similar narrative, storyline pattern to our elite women, where we do have a significant group that's definitely going to be well over half the field. Could be 20 athletes, maybe even more, are together after the swim. Of course, with such a short swim combined with the strength in depth and the quality of the athletes that we have here, this is a European Championship event after all. The gaps are never going to be too big, and as I look down from the drone shot there, that does look to be, well, I'm going to say at least 20 or so athletes in that group. Will anybody be brave enough or have the capacity to try and break away? Got one athlete giving it a go here early on. But all that seems to do is just up the pace of the chase. As you can see, we very quickly went from a group that was quite spread out across the road to a long line of athletes. That is Luxembourg trying to break away. That's Gregor Payet. And Gregor is no stranger to racing over the very short distances. He was 10th this year at the World Triathlon Cup event, which was held in Liévin in France, and that was the very unusual, verging on probably unique, I think at the moment, fully indoor triathlon. So that was where they, within the stadium in Liévin, they install a 50-meter pool inside the athletics track there. So they have both the swimming and the cycling on the track, and then the run on the inside lanes of the track over super sprint distances. Music going, entertainment. It's a real festival feel. And Gregor Payet took 10th there. That was the race won by Norway's Vetleberg Svik Thorn. It looks like that attempted break from Payet, perhaps to expectation, hasn't managed to stick. And now he is back in that leading group. Another attack coming here. This time it is from Hungary. So we have a whole host of Hungarians racing here. The Hungarian Triathlon Federation and the clubs and the coaches within Hungary clearly doing a great job, because they have real strength in depth. And in the race here today, in the final, we have Abel Cinco Uribe, Gergely Kiss, Zalan Hobor, who we mentioned was second here, silver medalist in the junior champs last year. They have Gego Adobe and Gulia Kovac. So Hungary more than well represented, with 5 30 athletes this elite and under 23 men's A final.
Bugünün 8. ama
So far, nobody has really been able to get a gap more than a couple of seconds. And the pace is on. You've got this depth of quality in that leading group on a flat, fast course. About either the technical sections or hills to break things up. Very, very difficult to break away. So fast does this racing go. We are already 11 minutes into the race, expecting a finish time around about 18 minutes. So that tells us that we are in the very final stages of the bike. Now, this time round, we are going to be seeing our athletes coming into transition. So there could be a little bit of tactics going on in the final stages, just in terms of positioning for that route into the transition, and hoping to get just a few seconds as they come into the transition area, and maybe just those few seconds could be absolutely key. We head out to the
Başta giden sporcu, birinci ve ikinci sporcu şu anda, iki İngiliz sporcu.
So it's the Brits have done a fantastic job in terms of positioning there. Marcus Day and Hamish Riley coming into transition first. We had Jelt Panja from the Netherlands, another 23 athlete, and an 8th place finish in the Hutalco World Cup this year. So let's see how much that positioning is key. Will the two Brits be able to get out first onto the run? And if they do, will they be able to make it stick? Valentin Morlec, he's one of the French athletes who I don't think we've mentioned so far, but he is absolutely a class act as well. Got him highlighted here. 5th place this year in the Tishivaros World Cup in Hungary. 5th in Chengdu in China. That tells you that Valentin Morlec from France, he's a man in form as well. He's going to be a contender over the next 5 minutes. So just off the back of that group, just coming in now, that's Abel Sinko-Yarib. He was 30th last year at the Under-23 World Championships. Such a short run, and that gap is not going to be in contention when the medals are handed out today. So this is the point. If you have been with us through the day, the finish line to our right there, that pathway on the left, that is the route that the runners will take at the end of lap number 1. So we will first off see the outrider coming through on the bicycle, the technical official leading the way, quickly followed by what I am expecting to be, if not a line of runners. I don't think this is going to be too much between our leaders. At this point, it's less than a kilometre to go. So we had the look like the blue tri-suit. Is that Ewan De Negro possibly? Hamish Riley up there, Day as well, and Morlec. So is that first year senior Ewan De Negro? We know that De Negro is a great runner, but if it is, and if he can hold that to the finish, that would be a great move coming up from the juniors into the under-23 and seniors. But although we don't have long to race now in terms of minutes, there is still plenty of racing, I'm sure, to be done. These positions are going to be decided by, well, it could be a second either way, not even seconds. Out to the final section of the run. You see it, 17 minutes up on the clock. We're expecting the lead time to be around 18 minutes.
Bu coşkuya hep beraber ortak olalım. Herkesi finişe davet ediyoruz. Tabii sadece seyretmek değil amacımız. Hep beraber alkışlayalım.
So I think that was Cinco Uribe just going out onto, or completing their first lap, sorry. So we're in the very, very final stages. I think 30 seconds away from welcoming our champion. Our technical officials, they're getting the tape ready. Which way is it going to go? Hopefully we will have the camera just a little bit up the beginning of the finish straight. It did look like the Azzurri as they came round the first lap. Unfortunately, we've not been able to see that second lap. So you are as much there as I am. I can see a sprint finish coming on. There are a number of legs absolutely sprinting to the finish. It's definitely an Italy there. Is that Azzano or is that? I think it's Azzano. Perhaps just came through ahead of the Negro with possibly Fleury in third place.
Tüm sporcular kocaman alkış hak ediyorlar. Başta İtalyan sporcu olmak üzere.
So I can confirm that is Nicola Azzano from Italy, taking the first place. Now, just going to slightly hold fire here on second place. At the moment, I did mention Fleury. I thought it was the red suit of Switzerland coming through. On my provisional results, we've got Fleury showing up as the second place finisher, but I'm not 100% sure that is correct. I think there could have been perhaps a timing chip error, missing timing something. I'm pretty sure, just visually, I think that the second was taken by Italy's Juan De Negro. That's just unofficial, that's just what I was seeing. If that's the case, but Fleury, Maxime Fleury, Switzerland in third, James Edgar, Arnaud and Bengal. Next up, followed by Hamish Riley, Jan Diener, Valentin Morlek, Marcus Day, Owen van der Planck, and Thomas Windischbauer.
Avrupa Triatlon Şampiyonası'nın ödül töreni.
But we will hopefully try and get that confirmed for you. But what a finish. We might have to wait just a few moments until we get that confirmed. We were just seeing there, as we have seen after each of the races so far, the exhausted athletes going off to the athletes recovery area, the cooling ice baths. Temperatures very warm here in Balıkesir, reported around about 33 degrees, so not super excessive, but certainly when you are putting out as much effort and at this sort of intensity, then getting into some cold water soon after the finish to get that core temperature down is going to be absolutely something that you want to do. And hopefully aid any aches and pains. So many of these athletes are going to be back. They raced yesterday in the individual semi-finals. The vast majority are back today and have raced today in either the A finals that we have just seen, our last two races of the day, or in the B finals if they didn't qualify for those. So the B finals for those positions 31 through to 60. And then many, if not most of these athletes will be back again tomorrow, where we have the European Championships for the mixed team relay. And how popular has that mixed team relay format been in recent years? And it couldn't possibly be on a higher plane than it is at the moment after that incredible finish in Paris, where we saw Laura Lindemann, Taylor Knibb, and Great Britain's Beth Potter sprinting towards the finish to determine the Olympic podium. The Pont Alexandre Trois Bridge, greatest finishes we've probably seen ever in triathlon. There we go. So I did say I was holding off in terms of results. I was pretty sure visually I had seen Juan de Negro come through across and take the second place, not come up on the timing data, but based on the images there, the celebration for the Italian, I think we can realistically say that the champion today, Nicola Azzano, Italy, the silver medalist, and in the process taking the gold medal in the 23 division, also from Italy, Juan de Negro, with Maxime Fleury, Switzerland, the elite 1, 2, 3 gold, silver, and bronze. Just looking down the results, again, this is unofficial, just based on what I'm seeing here. I think that means that the silver medal in the under-23s will go to Germany's Jan Diener. Let's see if we can work out the bronze as well. And that should be another medal, I think, this time. A bronze going to Great Britain, courtesy of Marcus Day. So just to wrap that up then, from what I'm seeing here, a combination of the live timing data, what we're seeing on course, I think that the 1, 2, 3 for our elite men here at the European Championships, Balıkesir, our men's A final in our elite category will go gold, Nicola Azzano from Italy, silver, Juan de Negro, Italy, and then the bronze to Maxime Fleury from Switzerland. In terms of under-23 medals, it should be, I believe, a gold to Juan de Negro from Italy. He was second overall there. I think the second place in the under-23 for the silver medal will be to Germany's Jan Diener, and the under-23 bronze provisionally to Marcus Day. So just to emphasize, that's just what I am seeing here. The detail will all come out in the wash. That will be over to our race technical officials. They will have to do obviously all of the official checks, ensure that any penalties issues were served, etc. But that is what I am seeing here at the close of the final race, race 8 of 8 here on the Saturday of the second of 3 days of the 2024 Balıkesir European Triathlon Sprint and Relay Championships. It's been great racing. Alongside those medalists that we've just given you, we've seen junior champions going to Jean Nuno Batista from Portugal and Fanny Salai from Hungary. And then in our elite senior race, Sandra Dode from France with Susanna Mikhalichova from Slovakia, provisionally the under-23 champion. That brings to a close the racing action for today. Many thanks to all of you for tuning in. Hope you've enjoyed the racing, and we try to give you the best updates that we can. Hopefully all of those positions do pan out as I've seen them there. If you want more triathlon, you only have to wait until tomorrow, 11 a.m. local time. So that's 10 a.m. Central European time, 9 a.m. if you are in the UK on a UK time zone. We will have the mixed relays European Championships for the juniors, and then we will be back later in the day, 3:30 p.m. local time. That's 2:30 p.m. Central European time, or 1:30 p.m. in the UK, with our elite and under-23 mixed relay championship. Whew. For now, that brings to a close this competition for today. It's been a pleasure, as always, to be watching the action, sharing it with you. Hope you've enjoyed the day, and we'll be back tomorrow for more triathlon. Until then, have a good day, enjoy your evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.